Hello. Hello, everyone. I was unmuted. I think you heard me click. Hey, everyone. This is Stop Losing, Start Trading, the Panoptic live show we do 3 times a week. There's so much content out there, especially this week, about how to trade options, how to position yourselves with a chaotic market, how to hedge risks. This is me, Guillaume Lambert, but I'm here with Rosalie, aka the Crypto Queen. Yeah, how are you doing today, Rosalie?
I'm okay. I think, yeah, ETH's price has been um,
So crazy.
phenomenal the
I know.
past a couple days, and just trying to,
Gas is cheap though. That means that you don't pay a lot for these million Gwei transactions.
yeah, just kind of hoping that everything on sale is a good sign, and learning how to mitigate risks, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the macro tells the picture that yes, everything is going down. When it's only crypto, then you're worried. But when everything seems to be chaotic, then of course you just have to ride the wave and make sure you don't get wiped out. We'll go quickly over some of the prices, but yes, ETH definitely down on the week. 20% down. 1500, maybe 1500 is the new 2000, but we've seen this time and time again where let's go back. Yes, some support, then a big crash, some support, big crash. So here it's just a new down move. It is what it is. The way that you manage this is to, of course, not be too overextended, not use leverage too much. A little bit leverage is good, but yeah, it is definitely hard to survive, especially when you have these very, very, very violent moves. Um, ETH is down. Bitcoin is surviving a bit better, but still going down. All of this again is driven by macro, but what can we do? Do you own stocks? I forget, or 401k type thing.
No stocks, just a lot of crypto, but I tend to buy everything at its all-time high, so I'm always down.
I kind of I feel like even like the stock market is reactive, even a bit more than crypto. Like you have like panic sells, like people I'm sure are panicking and buying, selling, yeah, selling the top, selling the bottom, buying the top type of thing. But
Yeah,
that's
I think in the traditional finance market as well, a lot of those people that are right now getting hit hard are more of the boomer generation, right? So they're more, it's more important for them. For me, this is just like I can take out the money when I'm older, but some people, they need it now, right, for their retirement.
yeah. I
So
mean, Warren Buffett said prices will cover in 20 years. I mean, he doesn't have 20 years left, like mini boomers. I mean, this is scary, right? You're about to take your to retire. You see your portfolio go down like 20%. Anyways, we're used to it in crypto, but not something that the boomer markets are used to. But yes, let's get on to it with trades of the week, trades of the day that the intern has done. I think I did close the BTC. So this is the interface. I'll go here. There's 0% marginalization, meaning that we are exited, but I'll go visit that page here and see the trade that I closed, which I think was a winner. And
mhm.
these are the three trades. Yeah. Plus 20%, plus 3%, plus 17.5%. So we're making money, definitely. This is the one that we closed. A tiny, tiny win, but because it was reacting to quite a bit of movement, we made money. And this was a good trade to be had because we did get paid. But yes, a lot of premia in the last day and a half or two. We didn't get spooked, but we realized these profits, which is what we wanted. So yeah, BTC ETH, the ratio is down only. Maybe we'll revisit the trade, but it's been kind of hurting for sure. Below 0.002 now. Uh, but yeah, that's the first trade that we closed. Is there another market you want to have a look first before we go to the trade we created in ETUSDC?
Um, I mean, we could look at the ticker Bitcoin market, but
Ticker Bitcoin. Printing. So this one is one trade where it's a straddle on ticker Bitcoin opened 8 days ago. Oh my God, look at this.
interesting.
Back exactly almost where we started. So there's two lines here, but definitely Neutral because we're back to it after 8 days. Uh, 5,000 Bitcoin trade size. Yeah. What do you suggest we do with this one?
Um, since it's a little bit more of a bearish position, I think we could probably keep it open a little longer unless we want to reposition ourselves and um, get the gains now when we can. But
Yeah, we have kind of a free. Now we're back at the beginning, meaning that the price went exactly where it was. Some people call this a martingale, but sometimes the price does revisit the price that we are. We are kind of able to reset time and stop the clock and start over. And this was a bearish trade set up 8 days ago. Now that we're the same price again, are you still bearish, bullish, neutral? What's your assumption?
yeah, I'm definitely still bearish. And so if we leave it open, we're just doing the same trade again starting today.
Yeah, and this is not something you can do with with traditional options. Here, options have an expiry. One day in the future means that you're one day closer to expiry. Here, yes, we have a freebie. So yeah, this is I like this too. Let's keep it on. We're earning dollars, $10 actually, which is good. But yes, despite the market move, we're back to where we started. We have an eigen trade as well. Let me have a look because we haven't watched it. It's been 27 days. The reason why we haven't watched it is that none of our kind of back signals have been lit up because we are still in range. But yes, this is the eigen token. Um,
Yeah, remember the last time we looked at it, might have been a week ago, and it was kind of heading down towards the red zone, and then you were like, oh, maybe it'll go back, and it did go back, and so now it's slowly moving a little
oh,
bit closer again. But
there we go. Yeah, there was a local dip maybe here, which meant we were kind of close here. But yeah, I mean, Eigen is a good product. A good again, got a lot of traction, and it's still in range, and it's 27 days, which might be the threshold about management. We're making money. We might as well say, let's take this. But yeah,
yeah,
if we were to look at this one, are we still maybe a bit bullish, bearish, neutral on Eigen?
maybe a little bit more bearish right now, given what's happening in the overall market.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe we'll save some risk by closing this position, redeploying it. No one is purchasing it, so it's fine. There's no stop. So yeah, maybe in turn may close this, create a more neutral or bearish, which was what we started here. So, but yeah, I mean, again, no one needs to buy this option to make money, and then we've shown it here where we earned again. Yeah, now the price is down, but yeah, about $25 worth of premium on that position, which is working for us very well. Oh, five, yeah, some premium. What's the premium? Oh, $10 and then five total. But yeah, this is good. Finally, we have the ETH USDC market. This one we opened less than a day ago. This is the one that we pasted the link. So anyone watching on YouTube was able to click the link, simulate the option trade for themselves, and see the exact same payoff curve. So this was 2 days ago, a day ago that we created. But yeah, how do you feel about this?
I'm a little surprised that we're down on loss, but we're earning a lot of fees. So that's kind of offsetting that.
Yeah,
Um,
so $3 again, $3 per day. It's still good because the position size is less than again in this case, yeah, about $1,300.
it's just, yeah, one day too. So it's
And
kind
then
of
you
hard
would
to
purchase,
judge.
yeah, and we purchase an out of range. It's for free. We have this capital here that's in range, and we're earning a bit more because the multiplier. Someone sold a bunch, 10 ETH, but then a lot of folks bought. So this one is earning a bit more, 1% more than the fees. Here, technically, we're paying more, but no one else. We're not in range. So yeah,
When does that option go in range? The
if
one,
we hit
yeah.
back the 1676 price,
Okay.
we're so hurt by this recent price moves. Someone told me a week ago that 1676 would be bullish. Then it's a different way. But yeah, I would say that the it's in the USDC. Again, It sucks to be in crypto at this time, but when the whole market goes down, it's hard to justify to your spouse that you keep your net worth in ETH sometimes. Uh, and yeah, I when people need, when you have needs, it's not just kind of bearish on the trade, but if you need cash because you get laid out. Anyways, sad scenario. We can make money on the way down. That's the message here, because you and then you've been able to trust your guts. And in this case, we make the max profit if the price goes down below 1250. But yes, it's a huge trade, but it's one that can work for us very well. So I would maybe recommend intern to keep it on. We're 12% buying power utilized, which is, oh no, 3% buying power utilized.
Yeah, we
Uh,
could probably open some more on Friday.
yeah, exactly. This is just maybe to an engagement trade. But yeah, we can open more on Friday. Yeah, that's it. I think it is what it is. Market's going down, so color values go down. But yeah, this is kind of the, this is rosy straight. Still making money despite the chaos. But yeah, maybe Friday we'll set up a Bitcoin ETH trade and also another ETH USDC trade.
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right. So this is again, we're a bit late, so we'll try to finish by the hour. But this is just stop losing, start trading. We have the options hour here with Brendan from the research team. How are you, Brendan?
Doing well. Markets are steadier today, but down on the week, and it's yeah, it's been a crazy wild week. But good to
Yeah,
see the interns trades are still greens.
it is. Yeah, you have to trust your instincts. And again, a lot of what we see in options is this might be the worst time to trade in terms of volatility and risk, but we can manage well. It's not as scary as it seems because we position good trades. We don't overextend. Uh, we cannot be liquidated on these accounts, which is actually by construct. If we want to be getting more risk, we could be liquidated. So that's kind of one posture you can hold. If it's too risky, still trade, just be less risk taking. But yeah, uh, thanks a lot.
Awesome.
See you, yeah, Rosalie.
Bye.
But yeah,
Thank you.
let's hop right back into it with the options hour with Brendan. Uh oh.
I think covered a
Okay.
couple of the
Yes.
prices.
No, I
Am
think
I
you're fine.
cutting up?
Yes.
Okay,
Might have been me.
sweet. Well, let us get into the market roundup. This is options hour where we go over the markets and the latest news. And so we'll have talk about how Bitcoin has been outperforming the equity markets as of recently. We'll pull up the price chart here, but we are down less on Bitcoin over the past 5 days, down only 7%, whereas equity markets are down over 8%, nearly 9% down
Yeah, this is a
on the 5
bloodbath for, yeah, boomer portfolios for sure.
Yes, like you said, the equities are not used to this, and they shouldn't be. We've been used to infinite growth, eight
No, yeah, if
percent
you go
year
at
over
5 years,
year.
I think the one thing that you have to look is like how far back do we have to go to get to the same 5,000 S&P, and despite everything, like it's not the end of the world. We're going back maybe a couple of years. I think this was 2023. Despite the extremely violent move, it's not going to be like too bad. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, some. I'm not sure if you can see the chart. Mine's having issues here.
No, yeah, the yeah, exactly. We are kind of back to where we were in early 2024, losing a year and a half or at least thereabouts. It's not uh yeah.
Yeah, we're at all-time highs. If we look zoom back, but in the recent news, we are down. But a lot of talk about how Bitcoin, is it going to perform like gold? Gold has done very well in the last couple of months. I think it dipped back down a little bit, but overall has been very well. Looking at the correlations here, as we see in general, we tend to see Bitcoin following the equity markets in general. Equities go up, Bitcoin tends to go
Oh,
up. Equities go down, Bitcoin tends to go down. We can see the correlation here between -1 and 1. But we did see a brief dip into negative territory over the February days, but we are back to mostly the same correlation as far as Bitcoin
Yeah,
goes.
I mean the positive. Let's say maybe the scale. It's like It's 0.6 or what's the current one?
Currently is around zero point 0.8 right there.
This is huge. This is like in terms of
Month.
crisis. Whenever it hits the fan, all assets go to pretty much one of correlation, and this is what we see maybe. But yeah, definitely showing you that Bitcoin may not be as independent, maybe, or uncorrelated than most assets.
Yeah, I think it gets thrown out there a lot that it is, but it's kind of that we want it to be, but it might not be all the time. I
Yeah,
think in this chart doesn't show you the most recent, but in the last couple of days, it has been slightly less correlated than equities, which is the big winner there. But definitely gold has been the outperformer. So, do you see the correlation going down further, or staying positive from here?
yeah. I think the those that think Bitcoin is a either a inflation hedge or flight to safety uh, are saying things that aren't true. Maybe to be putting it nicely. It is an asset class. It is somewhat risky, very speculative. The it's gonna follow the market. Again, it is. I don't know if there's a true like gold definitely has like a some resiliency. Bitcoin is still far from that, I'm sure.
All right. Well, not too optimistic there then, but if the markets go up, I guess you'll be happy with the Bitcoin price. But as we know with options trading, we have other things to trade besides the price, right?
Yeah, exactly. And again, the goal of any options trader is to be agnostic to the instrument you're trading. If you know the volatility or the IV of that instrument, whether it's gold or corn or Bitcoin or I don't know Amazon stocks, it's all the same trade and management style. It's just kind of I mean some some commodities, uh, the natural gas commodities is called the widowmaker because some of them do trade more volatile in terms of action than say
Oh,
meme coins, and you don't
interesting.
want to do this because like you have huge energy consumers like moving the markets because they can actually go out of business in a way that is very very different than gold maybe and bit and corn even because yeah the energy markets are so wild but yeah
We thought crypto was hard to convince your spouse.
I mean the energy is pure demand, crypto is pure volatility and speculation, let's put it that way.
Well, speaking of speculation, today a lot of talk about the Fed minutes coming out. So this is past information of what the Fed talked about leading up to the whole tariff thing on April 2nd. And so a lot of people take this with a grain of salt. The minutes will be published today. However, there is a lot to read in between the lines to get a forecast of how the Fed is thinking about the future going forward. They did go, there was a lot of things said by the Fed about the tariffs. At first, the Fed was mostly saying that the inflation from the tariffs would be potentially transitory. I know people are spooked by this word because last time they said inflation would be transitory, ended up staying for years.
I mean,
And then
the
how
Fed has no crystal ball. I think they are just one opinion maker in a weird way. They have a big lever to pull, but yeah, no one knows.
right, it's a bunch of data analysts and economists grabbing data from Goldman Sachs from all around the markets, PPI, CPI, right? They're just data harvesters, and then they meet and they sit around and say up or down or stay the same.
I mean, I know I listen to Tasty Lay every once in a while, and Tom Sosnoff is convinced that the Fed has no clue. It's all about bond traders. The traders, those that have millions of dollars on the line, they will not look at the tea leaves. They know a lot more, and they have a lot more to lose than a statement that is wrong. And typically, when you say if the market, if the Fed will increase or decrease or keep the rate stable, it's just because the bonds market has spoken, and then just follow in a way. So
Yes, and the
the
10-year treasuries and yeah.
yeah, being actively involved. Same thing with like putting market. If you are on the line for losing, for being wrong, losing money, then you make a bigger effort to be right than just me and you talking about it in a way where there's no consequence.
Yeah, it's really the big lever that the Fed holds that everyone's watching because they could care less about the Fed's predictions if the Fed's predictions didn't impact how the Fed would pull the lever up or down or stay the same. And so we can look. So basically, the Fed is kind of walking back their transitory inflation. They're saying it could be more persistent. And this is signaling to everyone that, hey, Powell is potentially opening the door for QE. We're going to flood the gates with money. This is sign for more liquidity into the markets. We can also look at poly market, as you're mentioning here, with actual money on the line. This market is a bit more traded, one of the more popular markets on how many rate cuts would come, which would be flushing in cash into the system. We have seen that the potential for rate cuts has gone up a lot in the last month due to these tariff fears. So the Fed was previously announcing 2 planned rate cuts for the year of 2025. So far, we've had 0. The market itself on poly market is pricing in something much closer to around 425 basis point rate cuts coming up.
So you take the average of what? So no one is brave enough to say 2 or 1 or 0, I guess. So yeah,
It's just so low that they don't show it
I
on the
see.
chart anymore.
That's what. Yeah, I mean If you think this is wrong, you can bet or do a play there. But yeah, ultimately, there's no one arguing about what the market thinks in a way. They may be wrong, but then if they're wrong, at least they put their money where they want it. But yeah.
Yes, this is where the money is. I mean, yeah, a lot of. I think this is volume that they're measuring, but a lot of volume.
Yeah, I'm not super a fan of that metric because volume is.
Yeah, we need the liquidity, huh?
I'm sure we have
Order book.
some people. I'm sure can find that information, but yeah, it's a. And yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar
I
with.
mean,
Oh,
we
there
also
we go.
show.
We get the order book.
Yeah, that's
You
right. We show the best metrics to some extent. Volume looks better, but yeah, no, great on Polymarket. They are still in the know. Hey, can you click on the Canadian election one? Actually,
Yeah, so I
close
was
to
going
my
to
heart.
ask you about this one. You can give us some context here. This is a very popular trending market on Poly Market. Is this kind of a big thing going on right now?
The block, yes, no, the election in. I mean, I don't want to bore people with election talks, but yeah, we have multiple parties. It's not 2 parties. We have regional parties like the Bloc Québécois only has seats in Quebec, and some parties have no seat, 1 or 2, but they still can form coalitions. But yes, the Liberals with Justin Trudeau were there with the most to lose, but they seem with they pushing themselves well and timing the elections. It's not fixed date either. So they said we go on election because they internally thought they were going to win. So it seems to be paying off. But yeah, the if you go up, Pierre Poilievre, the conservative candidate, is a bit Trumpish in style. Wants to bring the Bitcoin into the Canadian treasury as well. So for the crypto focused folks here in Canada, may not like that it's the Liberals still quite again like same as before. So nothing changes. But yeah, anyways, we'll see how it goes.
All right, and what is Quebec voting? Mostly Liberal, huh?
No, yeah, the no block. The this is the separatists. This is the thing. If Canada were to ever be a 51st state, like Quebec will want to split again from US or Canada, and so it's just going to make it easier for us to go around and rally with independence than it is now. We're kind of okay in Canada, but yeah, being forcibly integrated into a state, we don't like it. But yeah, no, very good. Anyways, the we'll see. This is very quick from election to from the announcement to the election is like less than a month. Or yeah, so it is much more intense than what you have in the US, and also much less easy to maybe manipulate or at least plan ahead because you 2 months ago no one knew we're going to go be in election now type of thing.
Very interesting. Well, it looks like markets are settling on this, but thanks for the bonus segment. Very, we don't just cover options here; we cover everything.
Mayoral elections next.
Yeah, Boston. All right. Well, let's jump to some other markets here. We also have the Fed rates decision coming up. This next one will be in May, I believe, around this May 7th date. We're still looking a little bit bearish on the Fed rate lowering rates. Then most are still in agreement that they're holding off till perhaps the summer on that front.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what the crash did not seem to change the ratio too much, but it added volatility in a sense. So yeah, the
I guess
last
when
week,
was the crash around the
yeah, maybe
5th?
last week ish. Yeah, this is also 24/7, so I can imagine that Sunday like stuff started happening. But yeah, no, it's a you see some volatility, but it seems to be still pretty hard to predict. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, this is the
pretty
thing.
voluntary.
It's so
20 to
complex.
36.
It's a huge machine that has so many moving parts that would the interest rate change given that the market crashes, it's even harder to predict because people don't seem to agree even after that. So, anyways,
Well, given that it's so hard, I'll still put you on the hard spot. Negative GDP growth this year, recession talks,
no, exactly.
stagflation. What are your thoughts? Are we in for a bad year? Are things going to have is a soft recovery? Is this all just talk momentarily? What are your
I mean,
thoughts
some of
there with
these
all?
tourists are definitely moving markets and people and countries basically. So again, I don't. I think this is accurate. There's a higher chance for sure that we'll be in negative. So yeah, negative growth. Is it contraction or just less growth? What's the definition of that number?
Negative growth? That is a good question. If it's absolute values or
I
just
think
reducing the
there's
rate
a
of caution?
recession that is growing less fast, if you want, but also depression, which is contracting.
Yeah,
Um,
it sounds more like this is recession,
yeah.
but it's hard to say with these poly markets. It looks like
So
all the details are somewhere below.
yes, definitely. But no,
Let's see
okay.
the seasonally adjusted annualized GDP growth rate scheduled for release if the report a growth rate below zero. So that sounds more like depression,
Yeah, okay.
actually.
Pretty sad, but yes.
Yeah, I mean this is quite high, huh? I mean, there's not too much. This isn't a super liquid
I mean,
market. It was just created, but
what I did in TradFi is that I did not know where the markets was going to go on Sunday, but I purchased some volatility futures. So that's another way to bet. And when there's uncertainty, volatility may increase. And this was a future, not even an options play, but that helps because volatility did go up. All the assets did decrease in value because of that IV spike. So these markets to some extent could even become one way to hedge these type of risks where okay, yeah, maybe I'm going to lose my job because of the depression, but at least I could use that market to hedge some of that. So that's kind of the availability of markets on everything and all things could help kind of mitigate risks to some extent.
interesting. So how would you hedge unemployment? You're saying buy futures or what exactly is the instrument there?
For unemployment or recession, do you mean, or what?
Or you're saying if you lose your job, right, you lose your
Oh,
income, how do you hedge against
no,
this?
that's right. I mean, the my wife is a doctor, cardiologist. If she loses her job, that means the whole market is so bad that it's if they don't have enough money to pay cardiologists, that means so that would be where you short the market, maybe buy the volatility futures. But yes, no, I don't know the not financial advice, of course, but yeah, I would say that the volatility is the better signal, at least that I follow, than just the price action type of thing.
Well, let's jump to the volatility, which is spiking up here because of all the tariff uncertainty. We're not sure what's going to happen exactly. We've seen Trump signal a lot with massively increasing tariffs across the board. The question is, will he reduce them last minute? Will he reduce them due to some deals? It's causing a big spike in volatilities. As we see, the IV rank has gone 274 for the IBIT. So this is the Bitcoin implied volatility just over the last few weeks, spiking up massively. And at the same time, Bitcoin going down. We also see around 75% implied volatility at the money.
This is pretty high. Oh,
Sorry, at the near term expiry.
interesting. Yeah, the crypto markets and the IBIT ETFs, again, they do have volatility, and I can imagine that there is an arb to be made, especially if it's kind of high on one side. But yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, and it looks like at the smile, yeah, it's we're at a bit higher of a volatility here that we're pricing in. So premiums are a bit higher, but there's a lot of uncertainty
And if you
going
remember, I
forward,
created an IBIT strangle when we chatted. I think this was last
right?
week.
How is
and
that doing?
and I'm still in range, which is fine. But then the IV expanded, and this is how it works. So I'm still 37 days from expiry, and this was 7 days ago. So I think I was 45. So I'm on paper losing money, but still right in terms of not moving. It's just the IV expanded, and then if you do it in TradFi, when you sell an option, you have this extra risk of, it's called Vega. But if IV increases, you may seem like you're losing. So even though you're right in terms of direction, you can lose money. This is the flip side. You can be wrong and still make money. But yeah, in that specific case, I'm sitting, because of all expanded, my deltas are closer than what I set them for. But yes, definitely something to watch. But yeah, in
Let's
like
break that
any,
down a little bit more, just for our viewers and to understand. So, if you buy, so you sold us straddle, right? So you sold a Paul and Nicole.
yeah, the strangle on IBIT between 40 and 60. So if the price were to stay between 40 and 60, I would be fine.
I see, and the
Price
price right
is
now is 44.
44. So what I did is that 40 to 60, price went down. So I rolled the call closer. So now I'm at 40.51. Still kind of in the middle. My net deltas are very, very like zero basically. But I'm tiny bit more risk because vol increased. I'm still in range, but then a 5%, maybe 10% move would mean I'm out of the money. So again, with Tasty Trade, you just have to go through the way to manage a strangle. You roll options, you neutralize your deltas. It's very mechanical. In Panoptic, we have maybe a similar process to discover. It's not clear exactly how to do it, but it's still very similar. But we do it, most of it, like two strikes together, so it's hard to just manage one leg. But yeah, the hope. What I did basically was starting with a wide LP position. I recentered it closer, still in the middle, and then now it's been like that for like 3 days.
And what exactly would the loss be if, I think you were saying the IV went up a little bit on that contract?
Yes. Wait,
And
can I?
how does that affect your positions?
Oh, yeah. The I sell something, so I short in a way, and I have to buy it back. And because the implied volatility increases, I have to buy it back at a higher price, technically, than what I got it for. Even though the price is still out of range and it's technically working, the Vega, the vol expansion, I thought it was going to collapse. If you remember, I said, I sure it's going to be like wet fart. No one will take this seriously. The opposite happened. So it did go up. In that case, IV rank was 74, and I'm sure it was much lower than that when I set it up. So you have to just, I thought the volatility would go down. It went up. So I have to realize either that loss if I close, or I can wait a little bit for that assumption to be kind of realized.
Nice. So you
Uh,
do realize the loss when you're rolling, or when
no,
you're
so I
reading.
rolled for a profit. I made sure that I had less risk on the downside, and centered it. And I would probably trade it when the IV was high as well. So I do profit again. The thinking in terms of LP positions actually is a bit easier as well. But yes, you just recenter your position, you offset, still in range. Just make sure you still are in range, neutral type of thing. Uh, the Vega or the IV expansion is very hard to manage sometimes in traditional options because you have to buy it back, and it's kind of the market to some extent controls how much you have to pay for it. Whereas if it's on Panoptic or Uniswap, you collect the fees; they're yours, so you never have to buy it back necessarily. You just have to kind of close it if the price moved.
Well, if you want a in-depth presentation breakdown, something visual, this let us know. Guillaume's IBIT trade, comment
Yes.
below. Let us know if you'd like to learn more about how he's managing these
Yeah,
trades.
it's hard to know like the price, the ETF is priced at 44. It's kind of a weird distance away from like whatever 75,000 that it is now. So it could do scenarios, meaning if the price goes to 50K or if it goes back to 100K, how much do I make or lose? Uh, but yeah, no, it's very, at least it's very visually easy to see, at least on TC Trade, but also again similar to LP positions where you start losing quite a bit, whereas when you are still okay in terms of risk.
But luckily, you're selling options. You're also very active. You're watching your position. That's the important thing with these
Yeah, and it's a
undefined
monthly
risk
days from
positions.
expiring. So even though I'm not on top of it 24/7, I have some level of
Some
it's
leeway.
forgiving. Yeah, some leeway. I don't have to like you buy. Yeah, that's what I like about options. You have a timeline in mind. It's hard to know. Okay, I'm buying this tech stock XYZ. Do you hold it for a day, a week, a month, a year, or 10 years, or till you retire? You don't have this choice at mint when you burn or when you buy it. I mean, but when it's options, you have this time scale already built into it, so it helps with management for sure.
Yeah, best is to have a perpetual timeline where you never have to turn in your homework.
Exactly.
We love perpetual options here.
Yeah, but it's still the risk is monthly or weekly or daily or still. So it is the best of both worlds actually. Come and trade Panoptic.
It is indeed. Well, that's about it for the market roundup. We'll close it off with just a couple of news pieces that are a little bit bearish and bullish. So here we have the Ethereum DEX volumes. They were seeing a massive spike back at the peak of the inauguration of the U.S. president. We are now down back to much lower levels. You see here, Uniswap is leading with most of the DEX volume on Ethereum
And yeah,
mainnet.
if you
This is what this graph.
there's a purple sector here that appeared in January, and that's 100% Meteor is when where the Trump and Melania tokens launched, so it's definitely 100% that. And I
Oh,
can
okay. Yeah, I guess this is looking at not just Ethereum. Huh. This is
yeah,
because these are Solana dexes, right?
yeah, and then yeah, the bulk is still from others, so bomb.fund driven type of thing, but yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if
So
Uniswap worries. Yeah, it's going up or down. I think they still have the same market share, but yeah.
yeah, Uniswap is maintaining a good amount of market share. Overall, though, the volumes are just a little bit low now with the markets being down as well. So that is the bearish thing. However, a lot of the um, kind of activity has been moving from ETH to L2s. I know you mentioned the gas fees being very, very low recently on Ethereum, being very nice to be able to trade. But at the same time, a lot of that activity is potentially moving to
Oh,
base. It's capturing a lot. Now, this is kind of a iffy metric of new addresses. You know, anyone can create as many as they want, as the block analysts point out in this article. But we are seeing a big spike in base here and new addresses created, and potentially the usage of base. I think it's been a very powerful, let's say, tool for Coinbase when it comes to their long term strategy.
yeah, no, I mean, Kraken also is doing some of that. Again, I'm a firm believer that maintaining infrastructure, maintaining custody, making sure that you have an uptime that is high is very difficult for an exchange when you do it on either your own layer two or an existing layer one. It's coming for free. You don't even have to worry too much about your servers going down and your I don't know if they store it, but yeah, your wallets or your funds being stolen because it's on your like server. It's all easy to kind of track. So yeah, I would say that Base, Kraken, Binance was doing it a little bit maybe too soon, given that what we see with Base kind of works then. But yeah, I think that's the a no-brainer. You have the order flow coming from the app and the people logging in, but also you have the trades happening on chain, which is simpler as well for Base to execute, I'm sure.
Yes, indeed. That is an interesting thing that you bring up with Binance being the first mover, maybe in as far as Sex is launching their own chain, but not being the market capture there.
Yep.
I guess you can't have the best of everything. So
No, I mean Binance is doing pretty well, and
pretty well, it's their second.
yeah, so they're still top one. So it's fine if their alt layer one doesn't do as well as they wish. They're still pretty good.
Exactly. Well, that's it for the market roundup. We'll be back on Friday with the Stop Losing and Start Trading episode with Rosalie and Guillaume. We'll also cover the best and worst trades going on the Panoptic ETH options market. So stay tuned for that. Are there any other announcements or market updates you have for us, Guillaume?
No, stay strong. Again, hedging risk, making sure you have an escape hatch or some way to position yourself that's not always going down is one way that I would say options can help you, but also more generally. Where as you mature in your trading, you have to be also a bit maturing in your strategy. So that's kind of where options come in.
Well, thanks for the advice. It was great seeing you, and have a happy options week.
Of course. Yep. Thanks, you guys.